What is going on, YouTube? Working on another custom today, and today I will be working on the American Motors Corporation Javelin AMX. We're going to give this the old Nascar treatment, and you're probably wondering, did the Javelin ever run in NASCAR? Did AMC ever have any cars in NASCAR? Well, the Javelin was never in NASCAR, but in the 70s, AMC entered NASCAR with the AMC Matador. Unfortunately, Hot Wheels does not have a casting of the Matador, so to show a little love to AMC, I figured deck out this Javelin. And the Javelin looks like a car that could have ran in NASCAR. Pretty smooth body lines and all that stuff, and probably would have been a good addition to NASCAR back in the day. So let's get this thing out of the back package and see what we're dealing with here. This is a very cool casting. I really like it. They did a really good job on it. The wheels actually spin pretty well. Maybe I won't do a wheel swap on this. So what is AMC famous for? Well, they gave us such great cars as the Pacer and the Gremlin. Not cars that you would really think of a company that would enter NASCAR. But they came up with the Javelin, which was a pretty legit ride back in the day. A very solid muscle car. So anyway, let's get working on this thing. I'm going to have to drill out the posts and take it all apart and see what we're working with. Alright, I got all the posts drilled out, and it is time to take this thing apart and see what we're working with here. It's all pretty basic, nothing too complicated about it. Alright, so instead of stripping the paint off, we're going to try a little trick. So I was told that a dry erase marker can remove the tampos off of these cars. And I think the color that it is fine with what I need. Let's see if this works. I just have a normal dry erase marker and start going over the tampos with it, and holy cow, look at that. No way. That thing came right off. Check that out. Obviously this isn't the best marker, but it's doing a heck of a job. This is the very first time I've ever tried this, so I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. Check that out. There's a little bit of tampo right there in the corner, but for the most part, you wouldn't even know there was tampos on here. Wow, this might be a little game changer. Let's see if it does the side one as well as it did the other ones. This is just a normal dry erase marker that I've had around for a couple years, and it's actually running out of ink, but it's still doing a pretty dang good job. I think if I had a newer dry erase marker with a little bit more ink, it'd probably make really short work of these tampos. I'm actually pretty impressed with how well it's taking these tampos off. Just like that. All gone. Wow. And it doesn't really leave a residue. That is pretty impressive. I'm just using really light pressure when I'm going over these tampos with the marker. Just letting the ink and the pen do its job, and it's working really, really well. I'm kind of shocked at how easy these tampos are coming off here. So check that out. Not too bad just going over it with the dry erase marker. Got all the tampos off there. That's pretty easy, pretty painless. Man, can't beat that. So there you go. I didn't think it would work, but it works fantastic. So if you ever wanted to remove some tampos from a car, this is a pretty ingenious way of doing it. All the tampos are off there, and just to make sure I got off all the ink, I washed it under some warm soapy water, and we are ready for some decals. So what paint scheme do I go with for a car that was never run in NASCAR? Well, I think I have a pretty cool one. It's a car that was run by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2011 when he was driving for Hendrick Motorsports. And for those of you who maybe want some more information on NASCAR, definitely research the 2011 NASCAR season, as this was probably one of the all-time greatest seasons in NASCAR history, in my personal opinion. But you guys let me know what you think. So Dale Earnhardt Jr., probably one of, and probably still is today, one of the most popular drivers in the history of NASCAR. He was voted most popular driver 15 times from 2003 to 2017. He won the Daytona 500 in 2004, and 10 years later, in 2014, he won it again. He won the NASCAR Xfinity Championship 5 times, and he raced in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup for 19 years. Ran 631 races, 26 wins, 260 top 10s, and 15 poles. His first win came in 1999 at the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte, and his last race for the Monster Energy Cup was in 2017 at the Ford EcoBoost 400. I'd say that was quite the career for Dale Jr. in the Monster Energy Cup, but he had a pretty impressive career in the Xfinity Series as well. 140 races over 22 years, 24 wins, 92 top 10s, and 10 poles. His first race in that series came in 1996, which was a Charlotte Pride Red Dog 250, and his last race in that series was in 2018 at the Go Bowling 250 at Richmond. I would say that is a very impressive racing career, especially coming from the pedigree that he came from and the NASCAR royalty that the Earnhardts and Dale Earnhardt Sr. is. I think he stepped out and actually made a pretty good career for himself. I remember watching Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. race, and it was kind of cool watching father and son duke it out on the track. Dale Sr. wouldn't pull any punches with Dale Jr., and if you can look back at some of those races, they're definitely worth watching. All right, I think it is finally time to get this car all put back together. I ended up painting the base. This is Tester's Emerald Green, and I think once it gets all put back together, I think it's going to look pretty impressive. At least that's the goal anyway. Hopefully the green matches the decals on the car. But we will find out right now. I ended up not doing a wheel swap here. I think the wheels that are on it actually go pretty well with the theme that I'm trying to go for. And they roll well also, so that's just a bonus. As usual, I'm using my 2x56 button head screws. You can find these on Amazon. You can get, I think I got 100 for about $8, so that's not a bad deal. I think it is finally time to find out how it all came together. So let's take a look. The moment of truth. Oh man, check that out. AMC Javelin. I am really happy with the way it turned out. And quite honestly, I didn't even have to paint it. That dry erase marker got off all the tampos really easily. And all I did was put a coat of clear on there to seal in the decals. And I am really happy with how this all turned out. Very cool. I think everything came together really well with this build. And it just goes to show, maybe if you don't know how to paint, or you don't have the means to do it, all you need is a dry erase marker and some decals, and you can make a little creation of your own, which was fairly easy and fairly cheap, which is definitely a good thing. This particular Javelin is a second generation Javelin, which was made from 1971 to 1974, and is definitely a very underrated muscle car. AMC didn't have a performance division necessarily, but you could get this car with a 401 6.6 liter V8 that cranked out 330 horsepower. It would run mid 14s in the quarter mile and get up to about 95 miles an hour. I would say that's enough to give the Camaro and Mustang boys a run for their money. Although AMC was never big enough or had the clout to compete with the big boys, they could definitely make a car that could hold their own against them. Although the Javelin never ran in NASCAR, it did run in the SCCA's Trans Am series, and it actually did really, really well, especially coming from a very small company. It held its own and was very, very impressive. So there you go. Little history lessons today, but here is the AMC Javelin. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we will see you on the next one.